So hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the new day and new vlog. Today we have with us our beloved friend Muntasir. How are you, Muntasir?
I am fine.
And what is the topic for today's video?
Our today's topic is about restaurants job experience.
Yeah.
And for the restaurants, we will mostly describe the food chain restaurants.
Correct. As you must have seen, or if not, then you can go to part-time jobs in Germany playlist, a new playlist that we tried to introduce. There we have talked about multiple experiences like Muntasir's software job experience, Shubdeep's job experience in one of the research groups, and now for today, our topic in the part-time jobs in Germany playlist is the restaurant job experience or insights in Kaiserslautern, because I think we would be discussing about some of the insights that we got from some of the people that we
That's
know
true. So
or who have worked.
So this is a disclaimer that it can be that this information is not actually relevant or it has been updated.
Yeah.
What we could have gathered from our friends, our environment that we are allowed to share.
Yeah.
So that we are sharing, but that information sometimes change or it can vary.
So what we would be discussing is step by step, like how one can apply it to various restaurants. First of all, what are the restaurant food chains that we are talking about? What is the procedure for them, and what are the documents that they might ask for, and how is the procedure once you are selected?
Okay.
So first of all, what are the food chain restaurants that we would be covering today?
So I would say there are major three food chains.
Yeah.
One is KFC,
Yeah.
another one is McDonald's,
Yeah.
another one is Burger King.
Yeah.
For Burger King, we have two outlets. One is in Kaiserslautern, another one is Stadtmitte.
Yeah.
For McDonald's, we have two outlets. One is near
Kreisel.
Opel Kreisel near IKEA, and one is actually outside of Kaiserslautern in Landstuhl.
And also you have option for KFC.
That's true.
So now if we start step by step, then how one can apply to these restaurants or these food chains?
So for McDonald's, one can apply to their website.
Yeah.
If you go to the website, you will see that search for the jobs, and you can apply to them directly, and then they call for an appointment.
Yeah.
For the appointment, sometimes it happen that you are not in the Kaiserslautern location. It can happen in
You have to
another
go to
location.
Landstuhl.
And for Burger King, you can print out your CV and directly go to the Burger King,
Yeah.
and in the front desk you ask for the manager.
Yeah.
And once the manager on the supervisor in charge comes in,
Yeah.
you give him your cover letter or CV,
Yeah.
and ask for a job. They will take it, and maybe 1 or 2 days later or 3
Yeah.
days later they will call if there is a vacancy.
Yeah. So now one more point to add here is that, like for McDonald's, as Muntasir said, so once you apply, with which documents you apply, like with your CV, they might ask for your cover letter.
That's true.
And once you submit that, you might receive a mail, and you can confirm your time accordingly when you want to
You
visit.
get an appointment,
Yeah.
and then we will visit them.
Yeah.
And for KFC as well, I believe you can approach the in-person appointments.
Yeah.
You can directly go there and give your CV and ask
Yeah.
for a job.
Correct.
And if there is vacancy, then they will call you for an appointment.
Correct. Now, one more point to add here is that, like he said, for Burger King, so it's also good if you go in person and you personally submit your CV, or you can
You
visit
can
the
also
website.
visit the
anytime.
website, and you can also mail. If you search through Google, you will find their mails as
Yeah,
well.
and
so
you
you can
can-
sometime mail the authority, and then they will take care of it.
Yeah. Now for Burger King, what documents? You only require your CV.
For Burger King, for Burger King as well, for Burger King, KFC, and McDonald's, I will prepare your CV and cover letters, because these two are common for
Yeah.
the initial application.
Yeah, so it's
But
good to have.
for the second test step, you need more documents.
Yeah. So now once one person go there, right, or they reach, they submit their documents, they have an appointment. Now in the appointment, what happens actually is the thing that you want to continue.
Yeah, I can continue. What happens is, it's not like software engineering experience, so don't bother like if it is an interview or like difficult ones.
In English or in German?
Mostly in English, because
Yeah.
these are food chain students and it's kind of international ones, so
Correct.
you don't need much German. There are sometimes of the job that requires German. We will come to that later.
Yeah.
But mostly the manager talks in English. So the first part is you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
So you go there, and then they ask you about some basic questions.
Yeah.
For example, your CV, your cover letter. Another important part is your resident permit,
Yeah.
which will prove
Are
that
you allowed to work or not?
you are allowed to work or not.
Yeah.
And then they ask you about your availability, which days of the week you are available
And
or
how
not.
many hours?
That's true. These are the documents, and you have like health insurance certificate, you have tax document. These are the basic documents.
So these are the common documents that I think one should prepare, because they might be asked, like for your software job experience,
this
they
is the
ask health insurance. Like Shubdeep also told, they ask for tax ID. So
Yeah.
these are some common documents: health insurance, tax ID, work
Resident
permit,
permit.
your enrollment certificate, just in case they ask. ask if you are a student or not, to prove your latest matriculation
Yes.
certificate, your CV, cover letter. So you have these documents. Now, I think they also, once you reach there, they also give you a certain checklist in some case.
Yeah, something checklist. There is actually another certificate. That is, I would say that if this restaurant job getting the job is quite easy if they have opportunity or availability open.
Yeah.
If like they have vacancy, then they will take you because many students work there. So they will take you, but if they take you, then they will ask you for a certificate that is kind of what
Like to prove that you can manage kitchen stuff.
that's
like
true.
it's
That's true.
related
Kind
to
of
that.
a health certificate
Health-
kind of thing.
yeah.
You have to do an online course. You can put the link
Online
in the
test.
description.
I'll try to put that
Yeah.
link in the description.
That's
So it's like a test that one has to give, and you have to submit that, okay, you know the rules, how to work in a
How to
kitchen,
work,
because you
the
would be
basic
working the
stuff,
basic
yeah.
thing, and you know how to clean things, and
I believe at the first beginning there will be some course description or telling some lectures.
Yeah.
And at the end you have to take a test.
you have to take a test.
If you pass the test, you will.
You have to submit that certificate, and there is a validity of that certificate as well. So I think you will get to know that as well. So once you submit that certificate, they might ask for that, or maybe once you join, then they might ask you to give that certificate.
That's true. Sometimes it depends on company to company.
Yeah.
Sometimes once you join, then they say, okay, you have 1 or 2 week, then you can submit the certificate within 10 time. Sometimes they ask beforehand that give us the certificate, then we will give you the job.
Correct. So it really depends on the case, but you might have to take this extra test, but I think it is also manageable, because and in the checklist you will also get these
Get
list of
that, yeah.
documents. Then you have to carry these documents. Then again you have to go maybe
have to
to
go.
submit and to,
That's
because they prepare the contract.
That's true.
Right. So once they select
let's
you.
assume they have a vacancy, your work hours match with that,
Yeah.
everything is good, then they
Yeah.
give you a contract.
Correct. And sometimes one more point to add here is that, suppose when you go there for the interview, and if you enter that, okay, I'm available in these days, the manager who is there can directly tell you as well, see, I'm looking only for these specific days or these specific times. If you, because you can sometimes decide timings based on your classes, but if you say I'm only available till afternoon and the job is for night shift, then they might tell you right away that no, we are looking for this specific time period, or you can give them a range, like I'm available these days, but anytime.
That's
So
true.
it really depends.
It actually depends on the company's vacation or the vacancy. For example, for KFC, it can happen they have 2 or 3 employees who is working on the weekdays, and they only need someone who can work on the weekends.
Yeah.
So then they need it.
Correct.
And for the KFC, I believe they have 2 shifts. One is from the morning till 5, another is from 5 till night 2.
Yeah.
And another point is KFC is 24-hour open.
Yeah.
So if you go there, you can have night shift and day shift.
Yeah.
For Burger King as well, no, not Burger King is from morning 8 to night 11
Yeah.
or 12. So if you take a job at the Burger King, you don't need to do night shift. You can only do day shift, but
only a
it's
fixed amount of hours, like 8 hours.
8 hours, 6 hours,
Yeah.
9 hours, it can vary.
Yeah, it can
For
vary.
McDonald's as well, I believe the hours can vary.
Yeah, so let's assume that you have been selected for the particular day that you applied. Now what happens?
So now they will give me a contract. The contract can vary. Initially, it would mention that from 3 to 6 months usually as your training period, and then you will have a 1 year contract,
Yeah.
something like that. You
Yeah.
will get a contract. You will read it. I would say that understand it properly, translate it in English, and then usually it is written in German. So translate it, read it properly, and see
Yeah.
all the clauses, and then sign it. You
Yeah.
give it to them, and
Yeah.
they will give you that, okay, you will come from this day onwards.
Now we'll go step by step in contract. First thing is about the money. So how much one can expect the hourly wage, or the general expense or salary that one gets for a month for these
As
restaurants.
far as I know, I think almost all of the restaurants try to give the minimum range, which is 12.41 currently,
Yeah.
based on the updated information. So that is the minimum wage range. I believe most of the companies give that, and if you work there longer, they have some promotion like 15 cents or one euro extra after 6 months or 1 year, something like that.
So these things are mentioned in your contract, but you will get that basic minimum wage per hour,
That's
which
true.
is mentioned by the rule. And also one more thing, your actually salary also depends on how many hours you work.
That's
Now
true.
coming to this thing, so sometimes can this happen, like in the contract it's written, okay, you will work these hours, but it changes after 1 or 2 weeks, like because
Yeah, mostly you are, as a student, you are allowed 20 hours per week in a lecture time. In a lecture free time, you can work 40 hours. but it is not guaranteed that you will get 20 hours. It depends on the company. For example, just taken as an assumption of KFC. The KFC has only one weekends where the person is missing, so you will work only one day and 8 hours. So it can happen you are working in a company or in KFC, you are working every weekends only one day, and still you are not fulfilling your 20 hours, so you are not getting a lot of money.
Yeah, so it can really depend. And how much time before can one get notified about this schedule?
So mostly all of the companies maintain an app where you, or the website where you can get notified about a schedule, and the schedule is decided 15 days ago.
Yeah.
So you can decide your you can find, okay, in 15 days I have this schedule. And for example, if you are not available in some days, in 15 days later you can select, okay, I am not available in from these 2 days. So when your supervisor is scheduling your plan, they will see that plan and then accordingly set it in that format.
Correct.
So it can happen that due to your exams, due to your work times, due to their work times, you are not fulfilling full times
20 hours, or you get
20
16 hours or 10 hours.
and vice versa. Sometimes in a month you can get more than that.
Yeah.
So on
It
an average it actually balances out.
Yeah, so you can adjust according to your schedule as well. And one more point that you mentioned, I think is also important regarding the working times that one gets in a week. So
That's true.
suppose in contract it's mentioned, sometimes it might happen in contract it's mentioned, okay, this days you will work, but they also tell you that, see, we are going to change this.
That's
So
true.
once you start working, then we'll let you know what times are actually
it
there.
can happen. Sometimes what I have heard that some people call in sick today and then they call you, can you work today?
Yeah.
And if you say yes, they put a schedule. That's spontaneous.
Yes.
And sometimes it can vary that, okay, we really need any person who is available in weekdays, so then they will schedule you.
Yeah, so it you will be get notified about the working times, and you can balance that out. Sometimes it might happen, okay, you only get 1 day free,
That's
and sometimes you can work 2 days. Also, you can adjust the timings like 8 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours. So you can also adjust that, but they should also have that shift open.
Flexibility. I would say keep them flexibility of hours,
Multiple days.
but fix it some multiple days. Let's say you can work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and once they figure out, okay, you work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then they will hire other employees who can work other days.
Yeah.
That's how they usually plan.
Yeah, so I think it's good to keep options open for the working hours. So now we have discussed about the salary that one can expect, like he said about the working time. What's the next thing, Muntasir?
Next thing is, I would say, the type of job,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
mostly these food chains has two type of job. One is in the back in the kitchen section,
Yeah.
and one is in the front.
This is
As
also
a-
related to
as
the
a-
German skill.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is the where the German skill comes up.
Correct.
Because if you are working in the kitchen section, then you don't need any German, because most people they are talking in English, or you don't need English. You don't
They
need
train
German.
you what
Yeah,
type of work you have to do, and then
initially-
you get trained.
Yeah, so that's another good point, that initially everywhere you get 1 week of training, most likely. So they will tell you how to do the works, and then they will you will learn it by doing it yourself. And then in the kitchen section there is like boiler, there is fryer, you boil the burger patty and all. So they are actually, it's repeated work, so you don't need that much skills or communications.
Yeah, German skills.
That's
so you
true.
can try to talk, but it's a good place as well to improve your German skills. You can
That's
talk with
true.
people
Everyone
there.
is talking in German, so
Yeah.
it's good. It always good. Everywhere it is always good if you know German.
Yeah.
But if not, I believe I heard what I have heard is in McDonald's, this pretty much everyone international students, and so you can work in a good environment in
Yeah,
the kitchen.
you can meet other students as well.
Other students. So
Yeah.
this is a nice environment, and you don't need that much German, because a lot of students are still talking in English. For
Correct.
Burger King in the Paris, I know that there are some people who talks in English, some people who don't. For Stat Media as well, I believe the manager is talking in English, and for KFC the manager is talking in English, and there are international students, so you can talk with them in English. But for KFC, I would say, yeah, there are some people who talks in German as well.
Yeah, and now talking about the front end.
The front end, or the sometimes the cashier part, or the waiter part, or you are serving people or cleaning your tables, then I believe you all definitely need
C1
German.
level they
C1,
are sometimes.
they ask C1 level at least, because
so that you are fluent and can
you are
interact.
fluent and you can communicate with the people.
Yeah, so the language requirements also depends on the type of job. So
That's true.
I think there are many multiple ways on which day you are working, what timings are you working, right? and for how
What
much time
type
will
of,
you
what
what
type
type
of
of job
job you are
you
working.
will be doing. So there are multiple conditions, but I think this is also good if you have a general idea. And one more point here, sometimes when people apply online, the thing is it's also recommended if you go and submit your CV offline, because online it might take some time to receive the reply, even if you are accepted or not, then you wait for the interview. But if you go in person, they might say okay, maybe the day after, next day the manager will come, and then you can directly talk with him. So I think that's also a quick
Sometimes
process.
face to face is good enough, and
Yeah.
whatever German people love meeting face to face.
Yeah,
They don't like online much.
Yeah, okay. So then you can interact with them, and if you know some German, you can start the conversation in German, and
That's
then
true.
maybe you can switch to English
Also,
accordingly.
it's better just go use Google Translate and learn 1-2 line, and then try.
Yeah.
Okay, here is my CV. I'm looking for a job.
Yeah. So I think once you reach there, they also tell you the guidelines. It happens step by step. You take certain documents. Suppose if they invite you, they give you a checklist. I'll try to maybe put some information in the description so that you also get to know maybe about the McDonald's, or like we said, the test that one has to give. It may depend if they ask you to submit that or not, and then accordingly, if everything is right, then they will also let you know the time. They also ask you when is the earliest possible date that you can
That
join.
you can join,
Yeah.
and which days you can work on.
Yeah.
Whether you are working on Monday to Friday, or I have classes on Tuesday or Wednesday, so I will work any other days, but not Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, something like
And
that.
one more point here is that suppose if you have to travel to other city, then you can tell them, because other people also travel on that time. So like Muntasir mentioned, the time range like from 8 till 11, but it's not you have to work from 8 till 11,
8
it's
till
the
11,
range.
yeah.
Between that you can work and search for train accordingly if you have to come back to Kaiserslautern, or if you have to travel accordingly.
So here is another important information I just remember. According to German rule, if you are working for 4 hours, you don't need any break. 4 to 5 or 6 hours, you don't need any break. If you are working 8 hours, you at least need half hour break. So students or software engineer job everywhere, they follow this rule, that if you are working 8 hours or more than 8 hours, they have to give you a half hour break.
Yeah.
And if you are working more than 10 hours, they have to give you a 45-minute break. So you can assume that if when your shift is 10 hour, usually someone doesn't give you more than 10 hours job, or 9 hour. Even if it is 9 hour, you get a 45 minutes break. If it is 8 hour, you get a half hour break.
Yeah, and then you can manage like by what time will you get free, and by how you will plan your return, because sometimes it might happen that you see okay, I'm working 4 hours, but my travel time to and fro is 2 hours. So should I go and work there or not? So I think that's also one of the
true.
personal
So that's
decision.
one of the crucial point for working in the KFC. For example, for the KFC, for the night people, the shift ends at night 2 or 3. So at that time is very difficult to return from there. What I have heard that some people buy scooty or the electric scooter, so that you can travel it with that, and some people just wait for the bus and come, or some people just walk if the house is
You
close
might
by.
have to search for night bus, but but it really depends which shift you are working on.
What
But
shift.
you can talk to the
With-
manager
with the
according to their
manager,
location.
according location and
Yeah.
all. And for Burger King, the Kaiserslautern, the shift I said that 8 to 11, so it's quite
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
And if you can return on the time, you can get the bus.
And it really depends if you are living on Kaiserslautern or Reichswaldstraße, maybe
That's
nearby, then you can just walk.
Yeah,
And
that's
so it really depends on the location where you live. Suppose if you have to change 1 or 2 buses, then maybe according to your schedule, you might want that you work in the morning, or if you don't have any classes on that day. So I think we tried to cover different points
Almost
regarding.
the points that you
Yeah.
should know
You
before
should know.
working, or you can know by
Yeah.
doing that.
Correct. And one more thing here is that the documents that you have to prepare are in English usually, I think.
Yeah, that's
you can
true.
prepare in German, but you can also prepare the documents in
Document
English.
that's not
Yeah,
an issue.
and if they require something, suppose if the manager is not there, you can ask the person who are working for the mail ID. You can mail, because they also I think reply via
with
mail.
the mail. Yeah, that's true.
So you will also get that information, like when you have to come for the interview, by when can you start. You can tell your case accordingly, or even like he said, if you have exams, you can tell that I have exam in this period, and you can maybe adjust your hours. But I think it's always good to notify 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before. Usually McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, they schedule it 15 days before. So it's always the early you say, the better is for them.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks is the minimum period, I would say.
Yeah, and now one more point that I wanted to ask or add is like the information that we gathered from different people. How would you summarize the experience that, because there are multiple, different specific experience, but how is it all in all? If we say working in Kaiserslautern in a restaurant job experience.
So I would say working in a Kaiserslautern restaurant job experience actually depends on the people they are working, on the hour they are
Yeah,
working, on
yeah.
the day they are working.
Yeah.
For some people, what I have heard is the job in the state meet in
Yeah.
the Burger King was pretty exhausted because
Yeah.
there was like too much pressure.
Yeah.
For some people, job in the KFC was in the night, so for that it was like too much pressure.
Yeah,
For some
yeah.
people, they were working in the KFC and they are pretty happy about it. They
Yeah.
are working for quite long time.
Yeah.
For some people, they work in the McDonald's in the
And-
open grill and they are very happy about
Yeah,
it.
they are happy about it, and maybe some people who have to travel, they have their own constraints. So
constraints.
it really depends on the case. How's the experience? I think expenses are getting managed. One more point that I want to add here, as far as I have heard from different people, is that if you have this working time, right? This maybe you can say fixed working time. There is no flexibility, and you have your exams and you have to prepare for that. Then I think it really
Helps you.
it
You
really
can-
helps you if you can do the flexible timing.
That's
Otherwise, you have the classes on same date and you can only work these 2 days. Then you have to decide accordingly if you want to work in that job or not.
And it can happen that you are free on Saturday, Sunday, and they are not free on
They are
Saturday,
not ready,
Sunday.
so you're not getting any hours for that.
That's true.
So that case can also happen, but I think this is also important that studies are also on good priority, and then you can work accordingly as well. Otherwise, you can change the job. I think you can tell them, notify them well within the time that this timing is not suitable for you. Even when you're going to sign the contract, if they say that okay, in contract this timing is written, but you're not satisfied with that timing,
You can talk with them. That
you can
this
talk
is the
with them,
contract
then,
and
then
this is-
send me the, because I think the paperwork is also important. What's written in your contract, you go
Yes.
accordingly. So you can, I think, figure out that by yourself. But I hope through this vlog you got some information about the restaurant jobs in Kaiserslautern, the information regarding that, how you can apply, as we said, offline, online, whatever suits you, the list of documents you will receive. But certain documents one has to prepare by themselves. Also, one of the tests that one has to give, you can talk about the appointments, what are the working times you are available, which days you are available, and then if you get the job, then also you can have the flexibility to adjust the days, and 2 weeks before you get the notification about the schedule, so you can work accordingly. And whenever you feel like that this is not that working for you, you can still talk with people there and maybe adjust or change your schedule. So I think that is also possible with people, and yeah, it's all good. Any more point you think, Muntasir, needs to be added?
No, I think we covered most of the basic points.
Yeah.
There can be some variation, as I
Yeah.
said before.
Yeah.
And you can ask them, you can communicate with them, and
Yeah.
get the latest.
Yeah, so this is the information that we got from the people who maybe work in Burger King, McDonald's, or KFC
That's true.
here in Start Meta, and it really depends. One more last point, that how much crowd comes to that restaurant.
That's true.
Suppose in Burger King Kaiserslautern there are
They are on the weekdays, mostly in general everywhere. On Saturday, Sunday, there is a lot of pressures.
Yeah.
Or Monday to Friday, there is not much pressure.
Yeah.
So in every food chain or in Germany, it's the same case.
Yeah.
So and if there is a match going on, then the pressure goes high.
Yeah.
So people have.
or if it's in
hardly-
Start Meta. So
That's
suppose
true.
you get an idea that many people visit Start Meta, so there might be continuous
More
work there.
pressures, that's
So it really depends on your location as well, on the restaurant location and the timing that you are working in. But I think it's manageable because you also get trained in these things. Because
That's
if you are not familiar how to do the work, then I think
You
get
don't
the
need
training.
any experience for that.
Yeah, so you just need to carry your CV and you just need to be a student, I guess, to do the working student job. So that's it for this vlog. So thank you, Muntasir, for sharing all these informations and insights. And I hope through this vlog you also got some idea about the restaurant jobs in Kaiserslautern. Rest like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao. Namaste.
Assalamualaikum.
Chalo, see you in new day, new vlog. Also, you can go to different playlist and watch videos according to your interest. You can go to RP2 Kaiserslautern playlist and this new part-time jobs in Germany playlist to watch videos related to the part-time jobs, experiences and insights. Bye bye.